I wasn't supposed to be here, but here I am, living proof that sometimes the impossible happens. I'm Mary Burrell, a hospice survivor who found purpose in the fight and a voice in the struggle. This podcast is my way of keeping it real, sharing raw, honest conversation about survival, hope, and what it really takes to rebuild your life when you get that second chance. Whether you're navigating your own health battle, caregiving for someone you love, or just need a reminder that you're not alone, this is a space where we turn struggle into strength and stories into something powerful. Because a second chance isn't just about survival, it's about stepping into your purpose with everything you've got. Podcast is more than just conversations. It's a testament to survival, resilience, and the reality of rebuilding after a second chance. It's about navigating health challenges, the weight of caregiving, and the power of community. Through storytelling, we connect through advocacy. We raise awareness, especially for tricuspid valve health and women's heart valve health. And through community, we create a space where no one feels alone in their journey. You'll hear solo episodes where I lay it all out, alongside powerful interviews with patients, caregivers, and advocates who walk this path. Together, we're breaking the silence, shattering misconceptions, and making sure no one faces the journey alone. This podcast speaks to women 20 to 65 and older, caregivers, hospice survivors, and patient advocates facing heart valve challenges, caregiving, and the journey of resilience. Health conscious individuals and medical professionals drawn to patient stories, advocacy, and groundbreaking therapies like the Evoke. Heart valve health, especially for women, is more critical than ever, yet too many remain unaware of key risks like tricuspid valve disease, despite cardiovascular disease being the leading cause of death for women in the U.S. This podcast meets the urgent need for awareness, advocacy, and real patient stories, filling a gap where women's heart valve health and rare conditions are often overlooked. With over 80% of podcast listeners seeking authentic, relatable content, now is the time to create a space that educates, inspires, and connects women navigating heart valve health challenges and caregiving. The pilot episode, Hope Starts Here, Four Voices, One Mission, kicks us off with the medical breakthroughs, advocacy, and caregiving, showing how innovation, support, and resilience can transform the patient experience. Future episodes will explore the raw realities of hospice, life after the delicate balance of caregiving, while also being a patient navigating clinical trials and embracing medical innovations. Through advocacy and education, this podcast empowers listeners with knowledge and connection. Each 15-minute episode delivers compelling stories, heartfelt interviews, and actionable insights, creating a space for inspiration, resilience, and real conversations. By sharing raw personal stories with a focus on tricuspid valve awareness, a condition rarely highlighted in mainstream media, this podcast creates a space for real conversations about life diagnoses, caregiving, and medical breakthroughs. As both a survivor and a caregiver, I bring a firsthand perspective that's both deeply personal and universally relatable. This podcast goes beyond storytelling. It builds community by offering actionable insights, collaborating with advocacy groups, and amplifying listener voices to create a real connection and inspire hope. I'm looking to partner with sponsors, advocacy groups, and organizations passionate about heart valve health, caregiving, and patient advocacy. Through sponsorships, guest appearances, and co branded campaigns, we can work together to raise awareness and make a real impact. To support the podcast, I will incorporate sponsored content, ads, and listeners' contributions through platforms like Patreon. Down the line, I hope to introduce merchandise that strengthens our community and sustains this mission. More than just a podcast, this is a space for all of us where listeners can share stories, ask questions, and engage with experts. It's about building supportive community that lifts each other up. Hope starts here. Four Voices, One Mission is just the beginning. Follow the podcast on YouTube and share it with someone who needs a little hope and inspiration. Let's build this community together. You can reach me via email info@maryburrell.com. My website's at www.maryburrell.com. And you can reach me with social media on Instagram and Facebook as Second Chances, as Mrs. Avocado, or on LinkedIn as Mary Burrell. Hope isn't something we wait for, it's something we create. Tune in into the pilot episode and hear how four voices came together with one mission to inspire, connect, and prove that even in the hardest times, hope is always within reach. You've just stepped into a space where real conversations about heart valve health, resilience, and advocacy comes to life. This is Heart to Heart Talk with Mary Burrell, where we speak from the heart for the heart. I'm Mary Burrell, hospice survivor, patient advocate, and heart valve warrior on a mission to amplify voices, share untold stories, and empower you to take control of your heart health. Because when it comes to your heart, knowledge isn't just power, it's survival. So grab a seat, open your heart, and let's dive in. Because every heartbeat has a story, and it's time to tell yours. What's a story without the people who've been there every step of the way? In this episode, I'm sitting down with Nahla, my 14-year-old granddaughter. This is a raw and real look at what it means to walk into the unknown with courage, love, and a whole lot of heart. Pull up a chair and join us. I want to share a little bit about my sweet granddaughter, Nahla. At just 14, she has shown me love and support in a way that has really, truly blown me away. Even though the toughest times, or even through those toughest times, she was always there with a smile, a warm, gentle hug, and so much kindness in her heart. Her light spirit and never ending optimism have reminded me that hope can come from the most unexpected places. Having Nala by my side has not only brightened my days, but has filled my heart with so much joy and strength that only a grandchild can bring. Hey Nala, how are you?
Hi, Mimi. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited that you're joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Yep, yep.
So, Nala, my first question for you is, what was the moment that you first realized that something was wrong with my heart, and how did that make you feel?
The first time I realized something was wrong with your heart was actually multiple times when I was younger. I noticed that there was like an increase in sicknesses for you. Like you were prone to coughing like pretty bad. You would have a cane, and I'd notice your like muscles and joints were very sore. So a lot of the time I would see you kind of like holding on, and it made me feel really bad. And I felt scared because I was worried that if the pain like managed to be too much, then there would be like something like hospital visits or something like that. So it did make me feel really bad for you.
Mhm. Thank you for having a heart and caring, but I don't like that you were feeling bad. And I know growth comes out of that, but still, nonetheless, um, Noah, was there a specific moment that you remember that scared you? And what did you do to cope with that experience?
It was actually a while ago. I don't know. I'm not sure if you remember it, but it was during, I'm pretty sure it was around COVID. I remember there was actually some hospital visits, and I was too young to understand what was really happening. So I remember that when you were gone for maybe like short periods of time, maybe like a day or two, I would kind of just sit in my room, and a way I would cope was listening to music or drawing. That those were some. things I was really interested in back in that time. So that's one way I learned how to cope with it. But I just remember during those times, I was really confused on why sometimes there was some absence. And yeah, once again, I felt really bad because number one, I didn't understand much, and number two, I would never want to see my Mimi
Hmm.
in pain.
Oh, I just love you so much.
Love you too.
These alarms on this phone always keeping me on task. I can't get away from them, I guess. Even when I'm doing the podcast, they'll just have to be in the background. They're keeping me on task, right, Nala?
Yeah.
Um, Nala, what is your biggest hope for me and for our family as we move forward?
My biggest hope for you and our family is that we all learn new things. And especially for me, is that I learned a lot during these past couple years, especially about you and what went on with your heart. So I hope that all of us as a family get to learn more about that and how you function, number one, because that Miss Avocado stuff is very interesting. And yeah, just learning and as a family and together and sharing our experiences.
I love that. Family time and sharing our experiences. So now that you brought up Mrs. Avocado, what about that do you know?
I do know that your heart is shaped like an avocado, and I know that most hearts aren't shaped like that. So that's what I figured out, and I was really surprised because also I'm pretty sure your heart is bigger than other hearts. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just not that phrase that people say, your heart is big. Heart is truly big. It's taking up center space. Um, Nala, is there anything that you'd like to add before we end this segment? A lasting thought or a wish?
Lasting thought. Um, in general, I am very grateful for my family and where we have come today because there was a lot of struggles in the past, and I'm just really proud of all of us for where we've gotten. And that's it.
That is pretty good, coming from a 14-year-old. I I appreciate your insight and I appreciate you taking time from your friends to spend with your Mimi. I appreciate you, Nala, and I love you very much.
Love you too, Mimi.
All right, honey. So thanks again, Nala, for being here and sharing your thoughts with us. Um, Not just for being here today, Nala, because you show up in life every day like this. And I know there's other kids hoping that other kids are listening and they hear something today that, they can take home with them. Conversations like this are exactly why we keep showing up because these stories, our stories, these experiences, they all matter. Thank you again, Nala.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Heart to Heart Talk with Mary Burrell, where we speak from the heart for the heart. If today's conversation sparked something in you, a question, a revelation, or maybe even the courage to take the next step in your own heart health journey, don't keep it to yourself. Talk about it. Share your story. Start the conversation. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a review to help more people find these conversations and pass this episode along to someone who may need it. And if you're all ready to dive in deeper, join the conversation. Connect with me on social media or visit www.maryburrell.com for more resources, support, and ways to take action. Because when we speak up, we spark change, and the world needs to hear our voices. And remember, your heartbeat is more than just a rhythm, it's a message. What is yours saying?